Welcome back to another brand new episode of Building with Jan, and today we're kicking things off right here where we left off last episode by constructing the castle walls, basically finishing them all the way around. So the last part that was missing was from about here all the way to, if we jump down here, the castle. The castle gate, I mean. So we came through here and constructed up this entire house, constructed up the stairs up here, and even started decorating the floor a bit. And in here there's still nothing except the zombie, it looks like. Let's quickly kill him and light this place up. But we came through here and built up this entire thing, which I absolutely love. And we also started decorating it a bit. But yeah, we kind of just threw around a few boxes and put them down in some random corners. But there's not really a system to it. This was just a test to see how it would look like with decoration. So what I want to do today, I want to kick things off with a time lapse, because the main goal, or the end goal for today's episode, is to finish up a house block, which is this one right here. So as you can see, I already started building the houses, or at least the facades of the houses. But yeah, we kind of are still missing a lot of walls and roofs, especially roofs. So I want to come through and finish all of this up today. And then we can even start like working on the roads, which I have started here, but I just didn't really get any progress done. Because I first of all want to finish this block of houses. So we have a lot to do today. We want to finish up this tower, and we have another tower right here. Then this house is pretty much, so the basic design I already put in here. We just have to finish it. Here is basically just a blueprint, and I want to snuggle in another maybe 1 or 2 houses right here. So this is basically, if we take a look on the map, where the dots are, I want the streets to be. So we basically need to fit in like a pretty diagonal and a pretty steep diagonal house in here. So this is gonna be pretty interesting. But I think there is no better way to get started than with a time lapse, where I try to finish at least some of the houses we can see from this side, and then later in the episode we can build in first person and start building or working on these houses right here. So let's go ahead and jump into a good old time lapse to start off this episode, and yeah, let's go. Alright, so it might not look like I did anything from the front, but I did put on all of the roofs on these houses, except for this one right here, because I just completely ran out of deep slate while building. So I'm gonna have to get some of that later, but for now I want to focus on detailing up these parts in the back right here. So this might look really messy to you guys, but I have a plan. Oop, free block for me, cool. So basically what we have at the front here, and I can quickly hop over to the front and show you this. So we have all of this terracotta dark oak action going on here, and I basically just want to take this, mirror it, and put it right here in this little A-frame. So just slap it right here, mirror it, and it should look exactly the same. What I want to do here is, you can see we have this little balcony, and I basically just want to finish this off with stone, where I just now put the dark oak. So that's nothing too crazy, just a really simple texture job, and that's basically it. Then right here we have to fill in this wall in the back, as well as the wall which should go right here behind this crafting table. So those are just some basics. But obviously then we are not done with the entire house block. But what I also did in the time lapse was kind of start decorating this part a bit, and to be honest, it makes such a huge difference. Like, I only added a few leaves and a few like really big flower pots beneath the windows, some trapdoors, but it just, look at this, and now let's head over to the front and look at this. this just looks so boring in comparison. So we really need to do something about this. Obviously, we also still need to fix up the towers. We have one right here and another one right there. But we're gonna get to that later on. What I want to do right now is to first of all fill in the roof of this house and then come through here and texture up all of this. Okay, so I grabbed all of my materials and it looks like right here I was just going for some, what's it called? Cobblestone, right? Sometimes I just completely forget the names of these blocks. Now let's just randomly fill all of this in with some cobblestone as well as andesite. That's the combination I decided to go for here. So for each house I like to do a slightly different. So right here, I think I'm gonna go for some stone bricks as well as stone. And then also a bit of andesite mixed in as well. So this could look quite good if I manage to kind of build it. Yeah, so you can see I basically have gray texture on this wall, and I also have a gray texture on this wall, but they look not completely different, but they look, you can tell that those are different buildings and different shadings or different textures. Yeah, to be honest, those are just different textures. But kind of in that way you can kind of differentiate all of the different houses from each other, which I think is pretty cool. And right here it looks like I went for the same texture as over there. So let's quickly get rid of all of this plain stone and texture this up. Okay, so I also finished this wall right here. Now we only need to finish the upper part of this entire thing. So let's quickly take a look at the front again and grab all the materials, and then we're gonna start copying it over. Okay, so I am all done copying over the other facade to this side. And yeah, I think it turned out really cool. I didn't copy it exactly. I mean, I could have, but as you can see right here, we have a few trapdoors. This kind of acts more like a little balcony with an overhang, and we have this roof over here. But this is the street side, you have to remember. So here we have a big street where all the carts go along, and you kind of have space for that. But on this back alley right here, we don't really have enough space to pack in another roof. So I kind of just copied over the general design, but I didn't copy it like exactly. But I still think it turned out pretty cool. Now we can actually walk through here and don't see the other side. We can see there's something here. And we have another really small back alley in here, which we still need to detail up, as well as this tunnel right below here. And then this over here I imagine as some sort of like basement where they store barrels of some kind. I don't know. But before we do any more building, I think it is time for today's comment of the video, which today is by, let's see, Fire Brothers. For me this is peak YouTube content. Thanks for making me enjoy my lunch even more, and I'm always glad of being able to support people like you to hopefully carry on making these videos. And to that I can only say thank you so much. I hope your lunch was pretty yummy, because now I'm hungry. I do plan on carrying on making these videos. Yeah, so I hope you look forward to seeing more of this entire city being built up, as we currently only have a few houses as well as a castle. And I do have a few other big projects planned, which we're gonna start next episode. And I can just give you a little spoiler, like woo, woo, woo. Yeah, that's enough spoilering for this video. I guess you're gonna have to wait until next week to catch it in a new video. But let's carry on building. So it has been a few days since I recorded the last clip. I've been busy the last few days, but I did do some off-camera building, mainly this thing right here. So if you remember before, we could just look up through the ceiling and see inside the house. So I finally fixed that. Now we have a completed arch. And I also started detailing it, or this tunnel, I really finished detailing it. We have a few tables and just some random stuff laying around to make it look like people live here, people work here. And yeah, it just feels a whole lot more alive. I even tried adding some sort of like puddle, since in those tunnels it's often really cold and wet. I thought that was quite a cool detail with using the stairs and putting in some water. Now this chair you can only get through a data pack, although it is completely vanilla survival, so there are no mods in this world. This is basically just a texture pack with a data pack combined, and we can sit on it. So there you can see I'm sitting on the chair, and we can also rotate it and move it into different directions. So that's pretty cool. We also have tables. Yeah, you can see those tables. I just think they should be in vanilla Minecraft, and they are so cool. Although I also kind of like it when you creatively use blocks to add some details, like I did here with the scaffolding. Then we added a flower pot, an entrance. So I imagine this right here will be some sort of winery, or we basically just have a basement in here with a nice little entrance. Then if we come through here, this is the house we finished up earlier this episode. So right here, I also started detailing it. As you can see, I put in some dirt, and this crafting table is not really for decoration. I just left it there because it fits in here, but I mainly use this to build. So yeah, right here I only really changed the ground. I'm gonna add a lot more details once I actually figure out what this house is gonna be, what this house is gonna be, where the interior is going to be, because the house doesn't even have like a proper entrance yet, and I should probably light this up. But yeah, I kind of just really did some really basic detailing, also this little alleyway through here. But yeah, that's all of what I did, so not really that much. But for the last project of today's episode, I want to finish up. So let's take a look on the map. Right here is where we are, and we have this gateway right here planned out. You can see it in front of me. So this is going to be a tower, and this is going to be a tower, and then we're gonna have a bridge in here. But the bridge we're going eventually to build. Right now I only want to focus on building up the towers. And in addition to the towers, I also want to finish up this entire section of the wall, which shouldn't be too complicated. But once we do that, we already have a lot of walls done, and we also obviously also need to detail it from the outside. But I think that's also not something that we're going to do today. I just mainly want to get in the main shapes and stuff. Now there was a whole bunch of talking. Now let's head into a little time lapse, and let's see how much I can get done. Okay, as you can see, I built up the towers as well as this wall right here, so this is completely finished. Now the only thing we're actually missing is the gate itself. So what I think would be awesome is if we just quickly bring up these walls right here, and let's do this 5 blocks high. How does this look? Yeah, I think this is a perfect height for the gate in total. Now let's just quickly copy this onto the side. Okay, then next up, let's bring this up 1 more block. And I think if we add some stairs right here, this will add a nice curve. And let's again repeat this on the other side. Let's have a look. How does this look? Yeah, for an arch, I think this is pretty good. And let's bring this up 1 more block. Now to not make it as boring, I'm gonna add some wooden elements, which is gonna be the walkway with the windows inside. And some stairs like this could work perfect as windows. So let's quickly hop into Cheaty FreeCam and have a look. Yeah, I really like it. Now for the little roof overhang, we're gonna add some slabs right here. Now all we're missing in here are some walls to the left and to the right, so that we don't have gaps in here. And let's check it out from the front again. And this looks really cool. Now let's go a bit further back and have a look. And yeah, I still like it. So let's quickly copy it to the other side, and then we're basically finished with this. And to finish it off, we're just gonna place an alternating pattern between trapdoors and slabs. So just like so. And looks like we're missing a stair, but that should now be fixed. And with that, the main part of this gate is done, but we still need the actual gate itself. So first we add a beam like this, and then we take some fences on top. Okay, so the floor is going to be this high, which means we have to fill all of this up with fences, just like this. And now let's add some quick little details using some trapdoors. Something like this should do. And yeah, I think that's pretty much perfect. Now there's only one thing left to do, which is the ground right here. And now the final thing we're going to add in this video is going to be some things just like this, where it kind of looks like we have some holes in the ground, and then the spikes get pushed in here, so it's basically locked and you can't move it back or forth. But that's it for this video, basically. I really hope you enjoyed this video. We did a lot of, so I really think we did do a lot today, and I'm quite happy with the results of everything. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, as it helps me out a ton, and it really motivates me to make more videos like these. That's it for me, guys. I'll catch you in the next video, and have a nice rest of your day. Bye bye.